Hello and welcome to Rauta. This time we have a band from Netherlands which could be labeled as post-black metal or just black metal. This is not, however, one of those many kind of typical bands that are just like copycatting some 1990s Norwegian or Swedish black metal. This one is something different, something unique, which is the reason why I like it. Well, part of the charm anyway. So let's welcome Fluisteraars, meaning something like whispers in Dutch, with their fourth album, which I'm not trying to pronounce because this is weird. Anyway, you will see the name in the description as well as on the Metal Archive site, which I will quickly show you. 3 tracks, 35 minutes, and then let's start going through this version. As you can see, this one is a beautiful digipack, partially because this is just one of those not typical glossy ones, but actually having this kind of a black and white cardboard feeling. And on top of that, I don't know how well it shows, but here you have this kind of a transparent black, not black, red cover here, which then again gives you a little bit of a color to these black and white things. And then you have, of course, the CD here, and here you have the name Gegrepen, the geest, the Dutch can be so hard, it totally just knots your tongue up. So previous album was, this comes by the way with a download code, in case you don't believe me, here it is. Anyway, so the previous album, Bloem, was all about, well, flowers, blooming and all that stuff. And it was an interesting story because of the colorful cover, having those red flowers all over. It was like, what the hell, this is not exactly your typical black metal or even post-black metal cover. But there was a story about how the flowers decay. I mean, first they flourish after they, just grow up, and then they eventually die and become, again, one with the soil and all that stuff. Now, this is roughly the version I read about it, and it was interesting because it really kind of sums up the cycle of life. You just born, then you live, and then you die, and things sometimes happen very, very surprisingly, and it's not necessarily that everything goes nicely, but then again, you might have actually those nice blooming faces and all that stuff. So life can go in so many ways, but this is different. I don't know if this story is about trees or whatever, but goes beyond the point. Let's not get too lengthy one with the review. So Gegrepen, geest, then zielsontluiking. And this one is 2021 release with 35 minutes, 3 tracks indeed. So the thing here is, there are lots of very, very much basic black metal ideas here, but it's not like copycatting of those Nordic style. There's a kind of a weird, different kind of a layer or feeling that really sums up Fluisteraars styles. A lot of these riffs are quite crude in nature, way more crude than you would expect from a post-black metal album, whatever. And also, the production is really supporting that. So when you have a lot of these atmospheric black metal bands, which are actually more like beautiful and soothing and all that stuff, and really lack the extremity, well, Fluisteraars is the kind of a different breed. They're not afraid to challenge you with the more crude, even raw end of ways to do that. And it makes this interesting. But then again, they also have these kind of weird curveball moments, somewhat even bizarre parts, which especially towards the end kind of steer away from you, the rather typical black metal. That being said, Fluisteraars is not for everybody. It's not for people who are looking the kind of a safe, middle of the road kind of a black metal that is everything is nice and safe and I don't want surprises. It's better to copy Marduk and Mayhem rather than do something else. But those who are kind of fed up with the basic stuff and just when they want the basic stuff, go for the 80s or 90s. Fluisteraars might be actually something like, different, interesting, something that is thought-provoking and all that stuff. And that's the reason why I like it. Now, I'm not saying this is a perfect album. There are a little bit of minor flaws or something that kind of bothers me, but not too many. And that's why this album is, in my books, considered a good one. There are lots of, for example, interesting riffs and the general kind of aggressive flow throughout the album, which makes this worthwhile listening to. Also, those raspy, aggressive vocals are top-notch, and the production is very, very suitable for the music that is on this album. Like Bloem album, this one is interesting and good because it's not the typical. However, both albums also have a little bit room for improvement in order to really nail it. But definitely both are there, something that I urge you to listen. So, this album being out more than a year now, go check it out. You will find samples or links in the description box and start listening to the music, or maybe even in the background, I don't know. But it's a good one. So check it out and like it. If you don't, bye bye. Bye.